Good evening, everybody. Phil here, and welcome to the Daily Wrap for what was Monday, the 22nd of September, 2025. A day of very challenging gameplay, I'm not going to lie. Combining Kronos with Silksong again led to another day of very, very stressful gameplay. However, I persevered. I made great progress. Things turned out pretty well in that regard. And so I'm happy with how things went. Let's talk all about it. So first off, today on the first stream, we did a level 1 podcast, and I gave everyone a big update regarding these upcoming network changes that Comcast is going to do. And I basically heard some horror stories of people across the country who have had the Comcast network upgraded in their area. Some people have said, oh, it takes about 3 days and the internet really is down for all that time. Others are like, no, it's up and down constantly. You'll have one day when your internet's down for half the day. The next day it's fine. The next day it's down again and it's intermittent. And one person even told me, if you can believe it, it took 6 weeks, 6 weeks for these upgrades to finish. That's absolutely insane. 6 weeks for Comcast to upgrade their network? Like, how is that possible, right? Here's the thing. That's true. That could massively and negatively affect my business. How on earth am I going to be streaming and making money and entertaining you if basically my internet is down half the time? Like, to give you some perspective, one of the things that someone said was they would get a text at around 8 in the morning saying, hey, it's 8 a.m., your internet's going to be down. Okay. So then they would not have internet till 1 p.m. and then they get a text, okay, your internet's good for the rest of the day. And then the next day it would happen again. And then the next day it would happen again. Then all of a sudden, a fifth day, they'd be like, oh, we're not doing it today. You'll have internet. Well, how was you supposed to know that? They don't tell you ahead of time, apparently. So this is a big problem. And, the way that I'm approaching it is I'm taking off Thursday regardless, because that's the first day they're supposed to be doing the work. We'll see how it handles. Maybe they'll finish all the work on one day, maybe not. I think it's all outside factors rather than, I'm sure if they wanted to get the work done, if they could, they would get it done in a day. But what happens if they run into problems, right? So, being that starting Thursday, my internet's going to have issues, all right? That's why I had a full day today of trying to get through the games that I've been playing all along. Kronos, The New Dawn, 2.5 to 3 hours of gameplay. We clocked in around 2 hours, 45 minutes. This game is way longer than anyone said. And what I mean by that is people reported that the game can be 13 to 15 hours long with a maximum of 20. At this point, my playthrough is already 20 hours. And I still apparently have 2 major areas to go. I just arrived at this, I don't know if it's a convent or a church or chapel, but it was a place where people were trying to go as a safe house after the infection spread in the game or whatever. And apparently after that own area, there's one more area. So that's what I mean. Like today, I spent 2.5 hours in a subway trying to turn on 2 power generators to get to that area. It was kind of filler content, I'm not going to lie, although I did find a rare superpowered weapon when I did it. I also ran into a part of the game where I was almost soft lock. And what I mean is there's a crazy boss fight. And at the end of the boss fight, basically, you don't know how to beat it because, it's the first time you're ever fighting it. So I expended all of my resources, all of my health, all of my weapons. The way I beat it, I ran up and I punched a canister next to it. It blew up and it killed the boss. And I survived with 0 health. Great, right? So it's a boss fight. So now there's a checkpoint. There was, but there's a problem. They decided that immediately after the boss, you had to run through a gauntlet of exploding enemies. I had no ammo. I had no way to pass them, and I had no health. They couldn't even give you oh, here's a small health item after the boss fight so you can get some of your health back before you get to this gauntlet area. No. So I spent over 30 minutes trying to do this one part. It was insanely rage-inducing. If you watch the video, you'll see why. Just give it a look, and you'll be like, holy crap, I can't believe they did it like that. I can't either. I like the game, but as I've been saying, both with Kronos and Silksong, they literally left out modern conveniences that make games better and more enjoyable for the sake of trying to make the game harder. But there's a difference between difficulty, where you feel accomplished when you beat it, or sheer annoyance. And that's what I'm feeling right now with some of Kronos. It's just sheer annoying stuff that doesn't add to the game at all. There was no reason for this entire subway segment to even exist. nor did they need to throw a gauntlet of enemies after a boss fight. It was really stupid. But we did get by it. The bummer is we didn't hit the goal for the first stream. We had around $120, but we didn't hit it, so we stayed at 3 out of 10 goals, okay? The late stream was Silksong. Now, I had been exploring the White Ward, and I think that we finished it. We actually went through the entire thing and did as much as we could. I think at the end, if I'm trying to remember if there was an upgrade or something at the end, I think there was. But we finished it, and then it took us to the Underworks again. We got to an alternate entrance to the Underworks. We ended up finding all this extra new stuff, got a bunch of upgrades, and a new vendor and all kinds of stuff. And we found the needle and thread that allows you to now use it as a grappling hook, okay? Once we had that, people were like, dude, now you're in position. You can actually now get the double jump, and that's the final platforming thing of the game. Once you get that, you're good to go. You can literally explore the entire game when you get it. And I said, well, let's do it then. So people guided me to this new dungeon area called Mount Frey. It is an insanely difficult platforming challenge. You need to do air dashes, gliding. You need to use the new grappling hook to grab and bounce off of enemies and ledges, okay? There's a mechanic with cold, because you're outside, you start to freeze and slowly lose health. You have to find heat sources to stay alive. It took me nearly an hour. We got it done. So by the end of the night, I now have double jump. So when we play Hollow Knight again, the great news here is we can now do whatever we want. And I'm thinking, let's go explore. Let's do a stream where we just explore, we backtrack, we look for optional things that I couldn't do before we go back to the Citadel, because the Citadel is where the 3 areas are where you get the songs, and you go to like the last area of the game or whatever it is. I said, well, let's do other exploration. Let's get more health items. Let's find more tools. Let's do all the fun stuff, right? I love the exploration of Metroidvania games. It's one of the best parts of these games. So that's what we're going to do next time. And the good news is we're nearing the end of the stream, and we had around 80 something bucks, and then a giant contribution came in and we hit the goal. So we did hit the goal tonight. We're now at 4 out of 10 goals hit. And it was overall a great streaming day, albeit a stressful one. Again, playing 2 very stressful games, but it went well. So thank you all, really. Thank you all. Had a great time today, despite the stress. Thanks to those who did support. And looking forward to tomorrow, because if you're not aware, tomorrow is the premiere of Silent Hill F. I am right now, this moment, when I finish recording this video, going to put in the code into Steam and download Silent Hill F for tomorrow. There is no podcast in the morning tomorrow. Instead, we're just going to do a quick half an hour, what's up session. And then we're going to go right into Silent Hill F gameplay, 3.5 to 4 hours of Silent Hill F tomorrow to start my day. This will be a great opportunity for you to come by and support the streams. Notably, all right, right now, we're in a situation where I don't know how I'm going to be able to stream later in the week. It really sucks, right? It's terrible. I wish that I could know when I'm going to stream. I don't. So if you could come by tomorrow and please hang out and support Silent Hill F, I would greatly appreciate it. If we can hit goals, if we can get subs on Kick to make up for the lost subs and all that, I would really, really appreciate that if you could make it, all right? Tomorrow night, Kronos the New Dawn. Yes, we have to keep pushing. If I don't keep playing Kronos, we'll never finish this game. So Kronos tomorrow, it's all survival horror tomorrow. Silent Hill F, big dose, smaller dose of Kronos. Great stuff all day long, and I hope that you'll join and support and have a great time with me all day tomorrow on DSPGaming. Okay, guys? Everyone, please have a good evening. I will see you all in the morning. Peace out.